Brother lads, welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Merry Christmas. We are coming from church. There's a breaking story from TalkSport on Muhammad Kudus regarding his transfer this January. Now, possibly Arsenal want to get a winger. We've talked about that on the channel, a couple of times in the last 48 hours. But Muhammad Kudus is one of the players that could actually be available come January. Now, TalkSport is saying that Arsenal would love to explore a move for Kudus if that is possible. Now, I'm not really sure if West Ham are going to be selling, but TalkSport is saying that Kudus is one of the players that Arsenal are really looking at, and possibly if everything goes well, we might actually put in a cheeky bid. West Ham would be willing to sell. That's that's according to TalkSport. West Ham would be willing to sell for a heavy fee. Heavy fee, maybe 60 million, maybe 70 million, maybe 80 million. But everyone knows Arsenal are in a crisis in the forward line. Could that affect the way clubs look into us? Could that affect the way clubs price players that we are looking at? Most definitely. Of course, there is also a story on Marcus Rashford that we're interested in signing Marcus Rashford, but the biggest story right now is Muhammad Kudus. So, TalkSport is saying that if Arsenal get their money right in January, they would love to put in a cheeky bid for Muhammad Kudus. Kudus is a player I like, and I think we missed a big opportunity in the summer of 2023. We had a massive chance to sign him at the end of the transfer window in 2023. Everything was said. Ajax were ready to sell. It was around 35 million euros. I don't think that we could have got a better deal. I mean, if we sign him right now, we are going to spend about maybe 60 million minimum, maybe 50 million minimum, million pounds. And that is like 20 million more than what we would have spent way back in 2023. And there's no question about it. Mikel Arteta likes Muhammad Kudus. He's a great player. Now he's got that Premier League experience. Obviously, we have seen what he can do. He can score the goals. He can create the chances. I don't think West Ham are going to let him go for cheap. But for me, when it comes to the quality and it comes to the necessity that we have right now, I don't have any doubts about Muhammad Kudus. He's such a quality player. He's such a really, really good player. So let's start off with the pricing, right? 60 to 80 million. In January, most of the times, Arsenal don't spend that much. But we have been told that the Kroenkes are willing to back Mikel Arteta once again in another transfer window. And this time, it could be with a substantial fee. Obviously, Mikel Arteta has talked about that quote-unquote X factor that we need as a club. We need to get in that X factor in January. Then he's talked about, having a light squad and probably adding one or two players could actually solve that. A defender, maybe a midfielder, and another, attacker. So Kudus for 60 to 80 million would be a very, very good, deal, a very good buy. Possibly in the summer, but I just struggle to see. Most of the time, I struggle to see Arsenal accomplish deals upwards of 30 million in January. Not to say it can't happen. It can happen. Has it happened before? Have we signed a player upwards of 30 million in January before? Possibly not. But I'm not saying it's not possible. It's very, very possible. Is it worth 60 to 80 million? This one is one I'm going to leave for the comment box below. Do you think Muhammad Kudus is worth 60 to 80 million? Because for me, when I look at what he has accomplished so far ever since coming into the Premier League, I don't have doubts. I really, really don't have doubts. I really think that Kudus is one of the best Premier League wingers that we have right now. So I don't have any doubts that he is worth that money. I don't have any doubts that he's worth 60 to 80 million. I think his game could be improved further in terms of scoring goals, in terms of, what I mean is the accuracy, in terms of the amount of time he spends on the ball. He needs to be a little bit more selfless, release the ball a little bit quicker. But those are things that can be coached. I think he's a great player. I think with Sterling and Saka injured right now, if he came in right now, he would do a fantastic job for us. He would do he would do a very, very good job for us. But of course, that doesn't mean that he's gonna come. That means that if he came, it would be such a wonderful signing. So 60 to 80 million for me, he's worth it. And especially in January when West Ham will be forced to sell, he's one of those assets that I really, really doubt they would be willing to let go easily. But like I said, if they do agree to let him go easily, he's such a good player. What are the chances that West Ham will let him go in January? You've got to talk about that. You've got to think about that. Very minimal chances. Very, very slim chances. Like, there are not so many talents in that West Ham team that they can survive on. Now, the good thing is that they have Crescencio Somerville. That could be a motivation behind them willing to sell. Crescencio Somerville is like also, like top level as a winger. I like him. I think he's, a really good player. I thought Arsenal, in trying to find a replacement for Saka, or a backup for Saka, he could have looked into that direction. I kind of feel like he's such a good player, and he's just sitting on the bench for West Ham. You can imagine. So if Arsenal had got him from Leeds and just brought him to sit on the bench waiting for Saka and give him some minutes in the Carabao Cup and Champions League at times, it would even make more sense for the player, himself. But the real point here is that if you want Kudus, there is an advantage. West Ham have Crescencio Somerville, and with that, it really means that whatever happens, West Ham will feel we can replace him internally. They can replace Kudus internally, and that would be an upside to Arsenal. Now, the question is, what does he do, and what could he provide us with? Why is he a good choice among the available opportunities in January? Because, like I said, there's Marcus Rashford, who has been chased out of Manchester United by Ineos. He's there. We'll talk about him. Again, Arsenal very, very active on that one. Will it materialize? We wait to see. But Rashford is another deal that Arsenal are really, really, really big on. But when it comes to what Kudus can provide, I think it would be the perfect buy, in my opinion. Now, of course, there is talk of Nico Williams, but I'll tell you, Nico Williams is not going to come to Arsenal in January. He's not going to come to us in January. He's not going to sign for any club in January. There is talk of Leroy Sané, because Sané's contract runs down in the summer and maybe Bayern could get some money. There is talk of Florian Wirtz. I like Wirtz. I really, really do. He's a gem. Like, every game that he plays, he just gets closer and closer to world class. But listen, the point I want to say about Kudus, why he is the right option among January options, is first and foremost, it's rare that such talent is available in January. But second, Kudus can play almost everywhere. Now, I don't want to overhype him. There are people who are really overhyping Kudus, and they're saying he can play as Odegaard, he can play as Ozil. No, he can't. Like, he's a good guy. He's got the speed. He's got the technical ability to take on players 1v1. He's such a talent. But I do not really think that he is that guy that is going to give you, Odegaard or Mesut Ozil numbers or the effect. But he can do the Eden Hazard thing, right? That kind of number 10 that just carries the ball around, that kind of number 10 that just loves being on the ball. I think he can do that. You can play him in the middle of the park. You can play him as a right winger, and you can also play him as a left winger. Now, at West Ham right now, he's playing as a left winger, and then Jared Bowen is playing as the right winger, kind of inverted, right? And he's doing it very, very well. He's getting into the penalty area. He's, like I said, he's got the pace. He's brave to take on players, just like, Mitoma. He's young. I think his, resale value would be very, very high. And I think, like when I look at Kudus, I'm like, this guy's like money. He's strong. He's willing. Like I said, his game has a few things that you can coach out of it and maybe improve. But overall, I just feel that Kudus is a good player. But anyway, let's see. Talksport is saying that Arsenal want to continue monitoring that trail and see if it can materialize into something. If something happens, then I'll definitely let you know.